Hello everyone and welcome to Towards the Future, where we discuss important and relevant topics as we proceed into the future of our life and the world and what is going on in the world. So this is episode 11. So last time we had a special episode, episode 30, where we just answered a lot of your questions that you had. I know there are a lot of people who tuned in and a lot of people who had plenty of questions. You know, we had a variety of different questions there, so yeah, I'm very glad that you all came to that and you could share your thoughts and ideas. My name is Autumn Masterdell. I am a self-help coach and motivator to help you live your best life, help you overcome your obstacles, help you identify what is going on in your life and be able to address that and work on that. So, today's episode is about veganism. Again, yeah, we've talked about this a handful of times here. We're going to dive deeper into the topic of why it doesn't necessarily work for everyone. And why some people, and we'll discuss this in just a moment, how there's so many people now coming out and saying that they're no longer vegan for whatever reason, okay? So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about my diet as well, what I eat, and how I'm able to be healthy. And I would love to hear from all of you and see, especially if you have become vegan or are trying to become vegan, you know, let me know your thoughts on this as well. Hello to everyone who's here. So first, I wanted to mention this amazing company that I've been using for a while now, Bistro. Has anyone ever heard of Bistro? They make... This is all of vegan meals that they make. It is, you order, they make it for you and they ship it out. And it's very fresh food. It is organic for the most part, mostly organic ingredients. As you can probably see here from, this is one of my favorite meals, the red curry. You can see the ingredients there. Most of them are organic ingredients. So you have organic, and it's preservative-free, and it's very, very good. It's very, very good indeed. So they're actually having a sale right now. I wanted to show you. So you can do actually multiple things. Actually, you can do. They have 25% off here, but also let me show you because I am affiliated with them, and I absolutely love their food. I'm going to post the link here. You can actually get how much is it? You can save 30, is it 30% or 20%? There's a code, AFF3, if you use the link that should be posted soon here. Sometimes it's a bit slow for the bot to post, but it'll post. So yeah, certainly check that out, and yeah. Hopefully that bot posts. If not, we will have to see about that. Okay, why is that bot not posting? So we run into these strange technical issues already, right? Yep, it is on. For some reason it's just not working. So I'll just copy exactly what I posted. I don't know why it's not posting it, but yep. Here we go. Bot is not working. So yeah. Check them out. If you've ever used them, let me know, because it is an absolutely great company here, okay? You had no idea why it's not working. Of course, technical issues. Alright. So, proceeding from there, I would like to talk briefly about my diet and what I eat. And what I eat here that helps me, and helps me have mental clarity, physical strength, and just, you know, just the overall health that I've been doing a lot better recently as well. So, I've been, like, probably 7 years ago, if you're asking what my diet was, it's probably a little bit more than 7 years ago, I was very unhealthy. I ate very bad food. I wasn't healthy at all. I didn't really care what I ate. I didn't monitor what I ate at all. 7 years it took me to pretty much become how I am today, a vegan diet that I mostly eat today. Now, I also have found the right types of foods that work for me. Okay, so a lot of people say, you should eat high fat food, you should eat high carb food, you should eat low carb, high fat, whatever. There's so many different ways you can eat. And here's what I always say, is that there is no right way for a people, okay? Everyone is different. All right? So, everyone is different, so everyone has a different way that they decide to eat and what works best for them. So what works best for me, and this is what I've found, I've even had lab work done, everything is perfect. If you've seen my videos where I've talked about my lab work, everything is amazing. The cholesterol numbers, the LDLs are actually, my HDL, which should be high cholesterol, those are actually higher than my LDLs, which I don't know how common that actually is, but now here's the interesting thing, okay? Cholesterol has to do with a lot of the fats that you're eating. If you're eating a lot of fatty foods or foods with cholesterol, such as animal products, only animal products have cholesterol, that the type of cholesterol that's on the nutrition label, as you can see here. Any kind of plant-based food, you're not going to have any cholesterol whatsoever. It's always going to be 0. If it has eggs in it, it's going to have a lot of cholesterol. If it has any sort of dairy product, high cholesterol, or any sort of animal products such as meats, and very high cholesterol. Okay? So my diet actually is very, very high in fat as well. But my cholesterol is fine. My diet is also very high in carbs. And everything else is fine with me. I also consume a decent amount of sodium in a day. I consume a lot of sodium, and my blood pressure is fine. I'm sure you're wondering, if I eat so much food, if I eat all these high fats and high calorie foods and everything, it's like, well, Automestra, where does it all go? You look so skinny. You look anorexic, I've heard, okay? Well, if I could pull up a picture of a toilet, I would now. I guess it doesn't stay on me. It doesn't, okay? It doesn't. It's just gone, okay? So that's how I've always been, okay? I don't really gain weight easily. So perhaps for my specific type of diet here, the vegan diet isn't necessarily always the best type of diet, because it's like, well, I'm not really able to gain a lot of weight unless I consume a lot of food. And I have to consume even more food than I am now, and I do consume a lot of food. It's just the foods that I eat, a lot of them are lower in calories because they are plant-based foods. Okay? And we would talk about that. So again, certainly check out this company if you would like to know more about. If you want the meals sent to you, freezer, they're made. They're just amazing. Okay? So, all right. No idea if this chatbot will work now, but I don't know. Who knows? It'd be great if it did, because I don't think it will show some of the other stuff. But oh well, that's just how it is. So does anyone have any questions about the foods that I eat and what helps me? Because I've had a lot more energy since I've been eating this food. I'm not like a lot of these people that we would talk about in just a moment who have had to go back to animal products because they are having digestive issues or losing hair or having thyroid issues or just losing a bunch of weight and being malnourished and all that. I've not had those issues personally, but that doesn't mean that everyone can eat my diet and, look fine and be healthy. What does your daily diet look like? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Good question there. Kakumurino. I'm messing up that name, so excuse me there. But yeah, breakfast, I always eat oatmeal. Breakfast is actually one of the highest meals that I have in the day in terms of fat. I don't have my phone right next to me. It's actually in the other room. But if I had it, I would show you exactly how much fat and everything my meal has. But yeah, it is very high in fat because I use a lot of coconut oil. It's just oatmeal with, I do coconut oil, avocado oil, maple syrup, chia seeds, hemp seeds, blueberries, and this is every morning, okay? Something else too. Oh yeah, a banana. Banana is actually oh, that's right. I forgot to also mention that my diet is also very low in sugar. We're talking probably under 80 grams of sugar a day. So I'm not like one of these people where we say, eat 20, 30 bananas a day. That's, I think, just overboard. Or people who eat a lot of these very high sugary fruits, okay? Carbs are sugar, okay. Yeah, I get that. It's not direct sugar, though. Like, this is the meal that I had today, the 20 grams of sugar here is actually sugar, but it has 54 grams of carbs. So, yes, I think it's sugar is a carbs instead of carbs is sugar, because carbs convert into sugar in the body. But yeah, but actual added sugar and stuff like that, or even just sugar in the foods that I eat and the fruits, as I said, the breakfast has the highest amount of fat usually, and also the highest amount of sugar in one meal for the most part. Not always, but for the most part, yeah. Okay, so that's mostly my breakfast there, and I always have also a probiotic drink right before I eat breakfast. So I'm very, very big on probiotics as well. So for lunch, for example, I can have any number of things. Usually for lunch, I'll have something like frozen, such as this. I actually had this for a dinner today, not a lunch. That's usually what I would do for lunch, something probably from Bistro here, or something else that I pick up at my grocery store. Mostly organic foods that I purchase. For dinner, for probably half the week, I eat foods that I have cooked and made, such as I like a lot of Asian and Indian foods. If you follow any of my social media accounts, you've seen some of these foods that I've made. So that'll give you a bit of an idea. So you can check me out on Minds, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Okay. So, and then I also eat, after that, I usually eat between meals sometimes, depending on the day. And then I also have a meal like around 8 o'clock, like a snack of foods. And again, where does it go? Well, the toilet's in the other room. So that's essentially where it goes here, okay? So let's talk about why, even though for me personally, even though my diet works well for me, why is there so many other people who it may not work for? Okay, so let's talk about that here, because it is something very interesting, because there's people who have issues with this. Okay, let's first take a brief moment to look at some of the myths. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people here who are watching this who may or may not be vegan, they might have some ideas in their mind that may not necessarily be accurate as to what veganism is. Okay, let's take a look. Being vegan automatically makes you healthier. So this actually goes right in here with the comment that I see, French fries are vegan. Yeah, French fries aren't necessarily healthy. They're not necessarily the healthiest option that there is. There's so much junk food that you could eat that is essentially vegan. It doesn't mean that it's healthy. So vegan and healthy they're not synonymous, okay? They don't mean the same thing. Now, you can be a very, very unhealthy vegan, or you can be a very, very healthy one. Just like if you're an omnivore, you can be very, very unhealthy, or you can be a healthier one, okay? It all depends on what you're eating, okay? So, following a vegan diet can be extremely unhealthy if you choose to eat processed foods, okay? I mean, you can say this is a processed food here. There's no preservatives in it. It's all natural ingredients. If you looked at the ingredients list that I had up, because it is, some of it is cooked. A bit of it is also like raw as well, but it's in, you microwave it and then it cooks it and everything. But yeah, it all depends on what you find to be healthy and unhealthy for you, okay? all vegans are calcium deficient. Okay, so people think that if you don't consume dairy products, cheeses, and milks, that you're going to be calcium deficient. And again, that is also untrue because milk has an extremely poor absorption rate. I'm actually drinking milk right here. I'm drinking hot cocoa today. Okay, this is not, this is hemp milk, and it has a decent amount of calcium in it. So the plant-based milks also have a high amount of calcium in it as well. So if that's what you're drinking, if that's what you like, then that's going to substitute. So again, calcium deficiency, it's really not a thing if you're actually consuming foods that are healthy for you. Green leafy vegetables have a high amount of calcium in them. Okay. So again, if you're eating kale, it says kale here, or Brussels sprouts, I think also have a high amount of calcium. Plant-based milks have calcium oxalates. What exactly is that, Charles? For people who may not know, I'm not really familiar with that term. Being vegan means being hungry all the time. I'm not sure what all this blank space is right here. I think it's supposed to be an image that never loaded in. Okay, so when people think of vegan, they may think of people just eating salads all day, like getting 100 calories per meal. Again, that's not true. If we look at the meal I just had for dinner, it's 410 calories. That's really not a lot, because I usually eat more with it as well. I usually try to get probably 700 calories per meal. That's actually what I had for lunch pretty much. It was about an 800 calorie meal for lunch. Okay? I may be hungry a lot because of my metabolism, but that's not because of my diet. Because I used to be hungry a lot when I had an unhealthy diet and I was eating way worse as well. Okay? So again, if you're eating right, you're not going to feel that hunger. Providing you are drinking enough water. Got some water right here. I drink a lot of water. Eating at regular intervals throughout the day, there is absolutely no reason why you should feel any hunger on a vegan diet that includes animal products. Wait a minute. I did not make that large enough for you here. Okay. Hopefully that is large enough for you. Be sure to get enough healthy fats from sources such as nuts, seeds, avocados, and plenty of high fiber foods. You're feeling pretty satisfied all day long. Going vegan means automatic weight loss. Okay. So again, a lot of people may switch over to this diet because you can lose a lot of weight depending on what you're eating. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you will lose that weight. Not everyone eating a vegan diet will lose weight, especially those who continue to eat and drink highly processed junk food. Okay? Oh, and looks like the bot is finally working. Well, thank you, Streamlabs, for coming in here. Okay, oxalates stop calcium absorption. Oxalates are known as anti-nutrients. Is it from the plant? Or is it from the type of calcium that is in the milk? I can't say I'm really familiar with that. I guess it depends on the type of milk. Like, I've never heard of hemp seeds containing, being that way. I've heard of certain types of nuts, so if you're consuming almond milk, maybe. But again, I don't know if there's any studies. Yes, kale and broccoli I have heard of, that if you eat too much kale and broccoli or any of those types of greens like that, it can negatively impact your thyroid. Fortunately, I don't eat too much of that, and my thyroid has been fine for the most part. Some people have even said, have you had your thyroid checked to see if it's overactive? And my thyroid has always been, for the most part, fine, and the few times that it hasn't been, has been slightly underactive. So it's never been overactive. Maybe it was overactive one time, I don't remember, but for the most part, it's actually been slightly underactive. Vegans never get sick. Again, even though I may not get sick a lot of times, and I may be a lot healthier because my immune system is killing all the germs and bacteria and everything, that doesn't mean that I don't get sick or there are times that I don't feel well. Because again, you can still do it. Your likelihood of contracting serious illness such as heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer are greatly reduced. So those are more chronic illnesses. Where we're talking about common cold and sickness. Now we have talked about flu in the past and how the flu is greatly remedied by vitamin D. And if you're, if you have winter months, a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D, especially during the winter months. That's why people get sick. And I see here the bot has posted again the Bistro link. That 20% off is actually only available until April 15th on this coming Monday. So if you want to check it out, go for the lowest plan that they have. I think it's like 10 meals you can get, or you can try some other things that they have, like a subscribe type of thing. Certainly check them out, because when I found them, I buy from them every other month, and I always get a huge discount when I get it, and I get points, and then I get deductions from my meal. So it comes down to each of these meals pretty much only being about $6 for me, because of my discounts and everything. So it's pretty good. Vegans do get sick, yes. Okay, so again, I'm sure we've all heard the person who may be saying, "Oh, veganism is just too hard. I don't think I could ever do it. I don't think I could ever give up my animal foods to be vegan. It's just too hard to do it." Again, it may have been harder many years ago, but it's actually becoming increasingly more easy to find alternatives. You can go in the store now and find so many more alternatives. There are so many ex-vegans now. Yes, we'll be talking about them right at the end of this article here. Yes, we will be bringing. We're not going to talk about people specifically, but we're going to bring them up. We're going to take a look, and we're going to discuss why. That is. It has never been easier to become vegan, especially in this day and age. Because here's the thing. If you love sandwiches, for example, let's say you love ham and cheese sandwich, okay? Well, guess what? You can make a vegan variety of that. It's not going to be the same. I understand that, especially for people who used to be, love eating, real ham, real cheese. And then if they just suddenly switch over, it's going to be like, well, it's just not the same. I understand that. And your perception and your taste buds will certainly change over time. Certainly does. Okay, so even though you may not have that taste for it, over time you can develop that taste. Just as I have. I didn't like a lot of these things initially, and then the more I ate it, and the more I got off of the animal-based foods, the more I enjoyed it, and the less I liked the animal-based foods. Vegans are all weak, frail, pathetic little things. Oh gosh, so if I had more muscle, I would disprove that right here, but this is the most I can do. Hopefully it is good. Ugh. I work out all the time. I just can't gain the weight to be able to do that, okay? My metabolism, not necessarily my diet, 100%. Okay, again, being vegan does not mean you'll never be able to train to a meat eater's standard, nor will it preclude you from following your dream or becoming a professional athlete. Vegan food is nasty. Again, let's take a look at some of this food from Bistro here. I mean, just look at this right here. Let's just go with like this. Just take a look at some of these things. Do these things look nasty? They look all delicious to me. Veggie empanadas, soba noodles and peanut sauce. That's one of my favorite ones right there. Chicken quesadilla, Thai chicken stew. All these are like amazing. I absolutely love most of these. I found out my favorite ones, but do they look nasty? Is it nasty? Does it look nasty? Does it taste nasty? Again, there are recipes for just about any meal you can imagine, and you can make so many alternatives. If you like chili, you can make a vegan version of chili. You don't have to give it up. If you like pizza, pepperoni pizza with cheese on it, well, guess what? You can make vegan cheese pizza with fake pepperoni on it. Okay, plant pepperoni, usually made from a soy or a wheat gluten. Again, there's so many alternatives and ways you can get creative with making something. So again, it's not going to limit anything you can do. It just has to make you think outside the box. If you love hot dogs and hamburgers, well, guess what? There are burgers and there are hot dogs. I wouldn't recommend the hot dogs personally, but some of the burgers can be pretty good, okay? So it's just about trying, trying out what works best. Soy is bad for us. I do have a comment about that shortly here, especially from my own experience, okay? So we will talk about that once we get on to the next topic here. Vegans don't get enough protein. Well, I can tell you this firsthand. I probably get more protein now than I did as a meat eater. Okay? I had just today, without a protein drink, I probably got maybe about, well, my day's not over. So far I've had probably about 60 grams of protein. Just today. And my meal's not done, probably another 10, 15 grams coming later on. With my protein drink, I think the highest I've gotten in a day is like almost 150 grams of protein, which is a bit excessive. But right there, I mean, where's all that protein coming from? It's coming from plants. It's not coming from animal food. It's not coming from cheese and dairy products. Because a lot of people, if they do switch from omnivore to vegetarian, they may decide to eat a lot of yogurts or cheeses to get their protein intake up. And that's really not the healthiest option either. So again, that is not true. Vegetarians and vegans too are getting more than they need. So we're getting more protein than we need already. And soy is a very, very good source of protein, which I think we're almost at the end of this. So I would talk about soy and allergies in just a moment. 97% of the population are getting enough protein regardless of whether they are vegan or not. Yes, there's so much protein that we're getting. We don't really need that much protein. Pregnancy and veganism don't mix. So again, this is a bit of a controversial subject matter because you have a woman here who's pregnant who's going to have a baby, or even the kid that she's raising, her child. Maybe she wants to feed them vegan, but getting a lot of people saying, no, you're doing child abuse because you're not feeding them right. Okay, you gotta be careful of B12, iron, vitamin D3, and omega-3. Vitamin B12 and vitamin D3, I think, are the two supplements that pretty much everyone should be taking for one reason or another, because we are deficient in these two vitamins, regardless of if you're vegan or not, okay? I think vegans may have a bit more idea that more conscious that they need to supplement these vitamins. But really, the actual food-based sources of these vitamins are very lacking as it is. Because if you're relying on B12 if you're relying on animal meats for your B12, it's not a natural source. A lot of times, these animals are also fed grains high in B12 to replenish a lot of their B12 that they lose through the whole process, the animal process there. Okay, so again, that is not true as well. You have to be supplementing those things. Eating a balanced and varied diet during your pregnancy will ensure that you get enough nutrients. That's what it's all about getting enough nutrients. Kids need animal products to grow up, as we said. That is also not true. Children can thrive on a plant-based diet providing their nutritional requirements are met. And here's where it gets a bit iffy, because with a child needs more nutrients and vitamins differently than that of an adult, okay? Because their body is growing, okay? So, because of that, you have to be much more cautious and careful there and be able to really identify, what the child needs. Vitamin B12 and D, along with zinc and calcium-rich foods, as we said. Yes. being a vegan is way too expensive. Now, this is actually a very good argument here because I certainly spend a lot of money on food, and it's mostly because it is organic food. Not necessarily because it's, well, there are plenty of vegan products that are much more expensive. Like if you look at cheese substitutes or meat substitutes or, you know, like a vegan butter, it costs a lot more because it's usually organic and it's usually, you know, natural, as opposed to the conventional butter you could probably pick up really, really cheap. Okay, think vegan pasta recipes, beans, lentils. Okay, you can see far cheaper than meat and dairy products. Okay, and for the last thing, I think this is the last one here. Vegans are pushy and preachy. This is a good one because guess what? Well, when I've talked about my diet in the past, when I was talking about being a pescatarian, when I talked about being a vegetarian, you know, these are years ago. The vegan lashback, oh my gosh, they come in and say all these ridiculous things. I'm like, just go away. Just go away, okay? In that regard, yes, some people can be very arrogant and narcissistic, even sociopaths, essentially. These people who think that their way is the only right way, who also claim anyone who kills animals should be killed themselves. I've heard that before. Now, there aren't probably many people who think that way, but that is a sociopathic type of mindset. That is a very negative type of mindset. That is pretty nasty there, okay? Vegans are not usually as eager to talk about their dietary choices or lifestyle as you may think. But there are certainly people online who have who would do that, okay? So let's take a brief moment here since I'm seeing a lot of comments about soy. Soy, okay? Not a natural food. Yes, here's the thing. There are a lot of the when you consider a natural food, okay, what I consider natural food is something that is made from natural sources, okay? So if, for example, you know, these fake meats, if they're made from soy products or a wheat gluten or stuff like that, there is a process that makes it into that. Yes, it is a manufacturing process. It is being produced in some way, but it's still made from natural ingredients for the most part. Now, if you look at the ingredients, you will find other things in there as well. They're not all natural, as I'm sure you could say there. But again, it all depends on what is best for your diet. I've eaten those sorts of things. I personally, for the most part, do not have a problem with soy, but that's just me. Here's what I've found, though, specifically regarding soy. It has to be organic soy in order for there not to be any problems, okay? Now, here's why. Soy is one of the most heavily genetically modified crops, okay? Because it's genetically modified, a lot of times they will have a large amount of glyphosate that is sprayed on these products, on soy. And I found that if I do eat any non-organic soy, which would usually mean if it's not organic, then for the most part it's going to be genetically modified. Unless it specifically states non-genetically modified, which in that case I'm still a bit leery of, because if it doesn't say organic but it says non-GMO, it's still conventional, okay? It's still grown a conventional way and sprayed with a lot of pesticides that are non-organic. That's why I always say organic is the best thing, because organic is non-GMO and a lot more, okay? Non-GMO is just non-GMO, okay? That's still important with some things, but it's not organic, okay? So that's what I found, that it has to be organic soy. Just like if I eat corn, I've never had issues with corn for the most part, but corn is also another highly genetically modified crop. So I would always recommend organic corn. Okay, but with soy specifically, I've had gastrointestinal issues related to soy, like tofu. That's my primary source of my favorite soy, I guess, and soy sauce, okay? So if I go out to eat somewhere and I'm, eating all this tofu and I know that it's not organic, okay? Then I'm probably going to have issues because of that. There we go. So, yes, that is a concern there, but for some people it may not be an issue. So let's talk about some of these people who do have issues, okay? I brought up a page here. If you just search up no longer vegan on YouTube, you will find so many people here who says, I am not vegan. Why I'm no longer vegan? I'm no longer vegan. What can we learn from 23 ex-vegan YouTubers? All these people who were vegan and aren't anymore, okay? Now, here's the interesting thing about these people. There are a multitude of reasons why people decide to go vegan, okay? It can be for dietary reasons, like if you're overweight and you want to lose weight, you go vegan, and it's become much more of a trend now to do that, to look very thin, especially for women as well, to look very thin and like a model, like you have to starve yourself in some way. And some people have that misconception, as we talked about earlier, that it's not about starving yourself. So you can have that. You can have people who are actually doing it because it's a lot healthier for them as well. They realize that the animal-based foods are very, very unhealthy. That that animal-based foods, the meat, the dairy products, that they're contributing to heart disease, stroke, even cancer as well, diabetes, all of those issues, okay? A lot of it being contributed to the overconsumption of animal products. I'm not saying that, maybe every once in a while, these animal products may not be all that bad for you, but it's the overconsumption that we have in the society today, where it's just, for breakfast, what can you eat for breakfast? You eat bacon, you have one animal there, okay? Bacon, pig, eating eggs, chicken, and then you're drinking milk. You have 3 different animals right there in your breakfast, okay? 3 different animals. And then what do you do for lunch? If you do a hot dog, a hamburger, you have 2 different animals right there. And it's always the same animals. You never, for the most part, it's just, cow, chicken, and pig. Of course, people do consume other animals, but that, for the most part, are the main ones. So people realize, it's probably a lot healthier to go vegan, and they may feel a lot better, especially initially. I think some of these people, I can't say I know all these people. I can't say I've watched all these people. I've maybe watched a handful of some of these videos, okay? And a lot of these people do sound like they're focusing on, there is something wrong with me. I have to change it, okay? I have to change that there's something wrong with me. Then they change to this vegan diet and they feel amazing, and then suddenly they start to feel worse again. They're thinking, gosh, there's something wrong with me. I'm having all these issues. I'm having all these issues going on. And they immediately say that it's the diet, because when you put those 2 and 2 together in your mind, you believe that. And that becomes your reality, and that becomes true. Okay? Now, other reason people may become vegan as well is because they realize the real environmental impact that it's having as well. They realize that their choices are negatively impacting this world. It's very hard for someone to admit that their lifestyle is destroying the world. That bacon that you have in the morning is leading to the destruction of this world. That glass of milk, that those eggs that you eat in the morning, that's leading to the destruction of this world. It's very hard for people to comprehend that and to really accept that as true, because this is a food that people like. They don't want to admit that it's doing any sort of harm because they don't see the harm. That's the problem. people do not see the harm. People do not see the environmental impact that it's having. People do not see the animals that are being killed for them to eat their breakfast of, bacon, sausage, eggs, and milk, okay? I use that as an example because that is all the animals right there, okay? So people don't see that, so they turn a blind eye to it. It's so surprising to me when I hear people say, I don't want to know about what's in my food because I like it. I like these really sugary foods, so I don't want to know how it's made or what's in it because I like it. Okay? Or another good one is people don't want to accept the fact that their food and their obsession with unhealthy foods is leading to their own death, cancer, and diabetes. You're eating McDonald's all the time. Oh, I love McDonald's so much, but I can't give it up. I'm overweight. I have diabetes. I have cancer now. You can't give it up because you can't admit it. That it's this cognitive dissonance that people have where they think that on one end, they know what they're eating, they love what they're eating, it's amazing, it's great. But on the other end, they can't accept the fact that it's doing real harm to themselves and the environment. It's two opposites there. And they can't accept it because they're in that state of cognitive dissonance. Okay. All right. So, from some of these people here, going back to some of these people here, a lot of them may describe, if you're watching these people, how many of you have seen some of these people or know exactly what I'm talking about here with some of these people? Okay? Some of them can be very sensitive to certain foods. So if you're sensitive to soy and wheat, finding alternative meats and such is going to be harder. Because if that's what you like to eat, if that's what you enjoy eating, and your soy and wheat have a sensitivity to it, you're not going to be able to eat that. Okay? And yes, I have certainly seen those ex-vegan interviews as well. And I was going to talk about some of the people who are very pro just eating animal products all the time. It's an equally type of insane type of nonsense that is happening. People who just eat, just pure animals all the time. It just doesn't really make any sense there. That's much more restrictive than, eating a bunch of variety of different plants and everything. And I just feel as though it gives a very wrong message. There's a very type of narcissistic message that is given off from some of those people who are very pro carnivore diet type of people. Okay, but again, here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. Okay, everyone has a different type of diet that works best for them. I've told you earlier in this broadcast what diet works best for me. You could try to eat exactly what I do every single day, and you could be someone who is miserable. Because here's ultimately what it comes down to, and here's what's happening with all these people here. Okay, so all these people, as we mentioned, when they say there's something wrong with me, they're going to have something wrong with them. It's about the type of energy that they're putting into their food. If they think that their food is causing harm and they have that food before them and they're thinking that, it's like, gosh, this food is going to make me sick. This food is going to cause gastrointestinal issues and whatever have you there, okay? Then when they eat it, it will do that. Because they've believed that in their mind. I'm very big on the suggestion and the idea. So when you put energy into something, positive or negative, it'll change the properties of that food to do something. Okay? So, let's say, Chara says we need animal protein instead of the milk. Again, we don't need animal protein at all. Some people who have severe allergies may need to have a better alternative than plant-based foods if they're allergic to a lot of things. or if people who are doing it because they want to lose weight or because they constantly think there's something wrong with me. A lot of these people who may switch back, they may feel amazing, but what happens years down the line when, well, wait a minute, now I'm starting to feel all these issues crop up again? It could be a variety of different things. Now, again, I don't know if these people are eating organic products as well. If they're eating a lot of foods from, plant-based foods, and they're eating it with a lot of pesticides in it, who's to say that it isn't the pesticides causing the issues as well? Okay? Breast milk is made from animal protein. Okay. That's a good point. Okay, yeah, breast milk for a baby is made from human. Human produces it. Okay. All right. So again, that's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Because it's all about what energy you put into something. If I put positive energy into what I eat, then I do not have these issues specifically, okay? Children are built out of animal protein? Yes, because we are animals. So yes, children are made from human protein, okay? So the last thing here I wanted to mention here as we go into the Q&A section. So this was just the other day here. You know, we're very early into April, and we want to talk a bit about, these top stories. Let's take a look at some of this interesting news. I'm not gonna go over all these. I just highlighted the ones that were the most interesting to me. Okay, Beyond Meat, one of my favorite brands here of alternative meats, because there's no soy and there's no gluten in it. Okay. So there is no soy in these products and there's no gluten in these products. I like that because I'd rather not consume a fake meat product with soy and gluten. So they're actually making like a ground beef type of product, okay? Okay, again, you can look at these articles yourself as well. I'm just going to skip past some of the ones that aren't that big on my radar here. McDonald's launching a vegan nugget. So McDonald's, fast food place, you think of it being very unhealthy. Okay? But it's only in Norway. So you can't expect it here in the United States yet. But it's actually not made of soy or wheat, because that's what I was thinking. It's actually made of vegetables. So that actually gives me a much more positive mindset here, because McDonald's making soy nuggets, I would never trust that at all. Okay? Okay, just eating 3 eggs a week linked to an early death. Now, why are eggs so bad for humans? Can anyone answer that? Why are eggs so unhealthy for us? Can anyone answer? Does anyone know? I'm sure a lot of you know. You just don't want to speak up. Yeah, we go. Uni Brown, cholesterol, high in cholesterol, indeed. Yes. Eggs, I believe, are the highest food, the highest cholesterol in a food. Okay, just one egg, I believe, has 75% cholesterol. Now, we are made of cholesterol, but you don't need that dietary amount of cholesterol. Okay. Again, cholesterol is a link specifically with heart disease and other related issues, and it says linked with an early death. So 3 eggs a week. Again, that is pretty crazy there, because when you think of eating an egg a day, eating 2 eggs a day, there's no evidence that shows that it's bad. But this says 3 eggs a week, so we're talking pretty much every other day. Okay, again, not one of the most unhealthiest foods in terms of cholesterol. Okay, Doctor's Ditch Dairy here. Master Chef. Okay, KFC will launch vegan chicken with amazing flavor. So it doesn't say exactly where it's going to be launched. I'd imagine it's going to be the United States. So again, what's this going to be made out of? Okay, is this going to be made out of soy or wheat, or is it going to be made out of vegetables like the McDonald's chicken nuggets are? I don't know. We'll see. But it's so interesting to see all these different things pop up. Okay. Now, let's see. Stephanie, eat the yolk. The yolk of an egg has the cholesterol in it, the yellow part. That is what is unhealthy. If you're going to eat any egg, ideally, well, first, I don't recommend eggs at all because of the cholesterol and everything. But if you're going to eat an egg and all, the white part would be better. Okay, so that was pretty much that. Okay. So I see there's a lot of comments here. So let me know. Let me, just whatever questions that you have here, just let me know what they are, because I see, there's a lot of people on both sides here. And that's what I like to see. I like to see people talking about what they believe in. Okay? Dietary cholesterol does not cause bodily cholesterol. Again, Stephanie, I don't believe that that is true at all, because dietary intake of cholesterol is directly linked with heart disease, and even saturated fats especially also increase the body's LDL cholesterol. Okay? Have you ever had any health scares being vegan? Well, I will say this to you right now. It was a very long process becoming vegan here, okay? And I always said that I would never become one, okay? Because a lot of these people would just say all these things. So it took 7 years pretty much to get from what I was eating before to what I am eating now, okay? So because of that, I've only pretty much been vegan for about, it was August of 2018. So it hasn't been long, but at that point, probably a year prior, I was very little eating animal, like dairy products. Okay, now I've been vegetarian for many more years, and there have been moments that I have had some health issues 2 years ago when I was vegetarian, but it was mostly because of, I would say, not getting enough of vitamin D, and not getting enough exercise, because I wasn't really exercising back then. That's what made me start getting into exercise and moving around. And I started to feel a lot better there. So at this point in my life, my mind is very clear. My mind is sharp. I have some things, I have really sharp memory of. Physically, I can do enough physical activities, and I work out multiple times a week, probably like 4 or 5 times a week. And I am pretty much fit, so I am really not tired anymore. I have a lot of energy. I feel pretty good. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, Stephanie says false 80s science. Again, Stephanie and Charles, I'm not going to recommend people eating animal products, because animal products are not healthy for a human being. Okay, so I'm not going to advise people eat something that is unhealthy for them. What I advise people to do is to make up their own mind. Okay? Whatever works best for them. I'm not sitting here telling you, go a vegan, okay? That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not sitting here saying to you, you should be eating animal products. Okay? Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying I do not recommend animal products whatsoever, because they are unhealthy for the body, and they're also environmentally very harmful, and they're also very harmful to the animals themselves. Okay, it's a very cruel process that is done. So I do not recommend that in that regard. Let's say, all this science, again, conflicting science is all over the place, okay? So I'm sure, Stephanie, I'm sure I could show you so many studies that disprove your argument, just as you could show me equally amount of studies that disprove my argument, okay? So science does not know, and I understand that, okay? I'm not going to force anyone to do something, okay? Okay, I'm seeing here, it's untrue to say that eating eggs is either cruel or unhealthy. Again, eating eggs is very cruel to the chickens, because they are held captive in a cage, and they're forced to produce a lot of eggs, okay? Let's say Stephanie, okay, Stephanie, I'm going to take you, I'm going to lock you down in my basement with chains, and you're going to keep being impregnated, and you're going to keep having babies, okay? Over and over and over again, okay? And we're going to use your babies to feed other people, okay? Is that, because you're a human being, you're going to look at that like, whoa, okay, that's a bit crazy there, okay? But again, that's exactly what is happening. So there is no difference there, okay? You're just viewing it different because you view chickens as a lower life form than a you. And it's the same thing with free-range chickens. Again, it's the same thing. They do the same thing, okay? It's all the same thing. When you really think about it, it's just different labels for the same thing. Organic, free-range, grass-fed, whatever. While there may be some nutrient benefits or disadvantages of some, like it's been shown that organic grass-fed butter and cheeses contain higher amounts of vitamin K, K2, which is healthy for the body and the bones. That doesn't get rid of the fact that the same process is done to the animals, okay? And again, I'm not saying that if someone wants to consume these things, they need to know what is happening. The thing is, most people are oblivious to it. Most people don't want to acknowledge it, okay? So if you know what's going on, and you know the environmental impact and the health impact and the suffering, the pain and suffering of the animals, then you will be able to make up your own mind, okay? So I'm not right with everything I say. You're not right with everything I say, because it's up to the person to decide. But here is for sure what's going to happen in the future. In the future, as time progresses and the environment becomes to a point where, you know, it can't sustain itself anymore without, well, this at this point, you know, with the geoengineering and everything, there's a lot of processes already in place to combat the environmental impact humans are having. And again, I don't think that's fully humans doing it. I think it's also a natural process. I'm not one to sit here and say, you know, humans are solely responsible for the environmental impacts. Humans contribute to it in some degree, but you know, there's a natural process of Earth, okay? So, again, I don't even know where I was getting with that, but in the future here, you're not really going to have that. You're going to have these lab-grown meats, these genetically modified animals that are essentially grown in a laboratory. That's going to be the future, okay? All right, so because of that, eating animals will be a thing of the past at some point, because it's going to be genetically modified. Now, you could say that lab-grown meat is equivalent to that of an animal, minus, you know, the pain and suffering, and minus the environmental impact and everything. But again, it's not something that is happening right now. It's going to be in the future. So at some point, people will not be consuming animals. People will be consuming purely genetically modified foods. Okay? Soylent Green, I see Scott saying, yeah. It's quite disturbing. And actually, I think there is a product called Soylent, made from genetically modified soy. I think it's spelled Soylent. And it's supposed to be a meal replacer. Again, I do not recommend genetic modification or genetically modified foods. That's just me. Okay? I do not approve of that and everything, so. I think I saw one. Yes, right. We did talk about that. So if anyone else has any other questions, feel free to let me know. I'm going to be wrapping it up now. So again, Bistro, if you're interested in trying vegan meals, you can get 20% off your first order, AFF3. I will post that link here. Hopefully it works. Hopefully the bot works, okay? If you just want to give it a try, you know, that's what it's all about. People are so reluctant to try, but you can get 10 meals fairly cheap here, and you can try it out, 20% off your first order. And if you like it, and if it's great, then maybe you can order some more. It just posted twice, but that means double the chances you can go and check it out, okay? But I have been using this company for several months now. I absolutely love their food. I really need to make a video about my favorite ones with them because I do have a list of favorites. They have pizzas, they have pastas, they have, oh my gosh, they just have like so many different foods. They actually have something we were talking about earlier, the breakfast. So, you know, the sausage and eggs, all vegan, of course. So I think it's pancakes as well. I don't know. I forget what else is on it, but I haven't tried that yet because that was actually brand new. I just placed my order a few weeks ago. So yeah, if you're interested in trying them out, I would love to hear your what your thoughts are on them, if you've tried them out or if you plan on trying them out. So yep. All right, so that's going to conclude this. I really hope you enjoyed this today. There was a lot of discussion. I like discussion, and you know, as we said, I appreciate the conflicting ideas here because there's a lot of conflicting opinions. That's always good to debate and talk about these things because we're all different. And that's what the moral of this is. You make your choices. I'm not trying to force you to do anything because I can't force you to do anything. Only you can change how you want to be. But certainly, you know, look into, you know, what is going on and what you can do to change it if you wish to change it. If you don't care about it, then that's your right to not care about it. Okay? That is entirely your right. So, I do invite you at usually around 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I do go live on a Twitch if you would like to come and follow me, play some games. I will post that a link here. So yes, if you would like to come and join, I'm not live right now. If there are people streaming, then it is I'm hosting someone. But if you'd like to come and join and you like games, then certainly come and check me out at around 10, sometimes 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. So I would like you all to take care and have a wonderful night, and I will catch you. Actually, this is the first and last episode of Towards the Future for April, mostly because the next 2 weeks it'll be, I have a live discussion with someone else in about 2 weeks, so I won't be able to have the broadcast. They won't be on Friday, they'll be earlier, so I like to space around the broadcast. And I'm also doing a new video at the end of April. Okay, both of these are the same theme, so it's going to be good. So yes, so I actually won't see you live here until the broadcast with my guest on, I believe, the 23rd of April. So keep that date marked. Yes, that's the 23rd of April. If you're subscribed to my newsletter, I see Streamlabs just posted. You can get updates on that. As well as, yeah, I guess I'll just see you then in early May. Okay, so you all take care, and I will talk with you all then. All right? Bye-bye.